Hey, everybody. My next interview is Mr. Ryan Macdonald. And how do I know Ryan Macdonald? Well, he came to me as a student back in the day. I believe it was in my old studio, right?
Yep, it was about, I think it was like 11 years ago now.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a long time.
yeah. And not only that, you became my assistant for a while too. You worked in my office and
I
everything.
did. Yep, thank
And
you.
and then you were off way in school, and then you came back, and I got this new space.
Hmm.
And I said, Ryan, there's a space for you. And we did some adjustments, and you've got a studio there now for now 6 years.
Yeah, it's been a while now.
Yeah,
So,
you're
and
doing
it's
really
it,
that's good.
and it finally looks the way I've always wanted it to.
It's beautiful. I saw
Yeah,
pictures. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous in
I'm
there.
really excited about it to get back in there and start creating. So,
I know. I haven't been in my studio for 2 months. 2 months.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna get there eventually. I get back there and do stuff and everything like that. But right now, just kind of, I'm kind of happy being at home. It's all good.
Yeah, good. As
So
you should be.
and I know life has really been very busy for you. You were on like on tours and recording and all that stuff, and like you're one of the famous bands in Thunder Bay, and you're doing extremely well. So tell me life before the pandemic, and then I'll tell me life after or
Um,
during.
Yeah, I guess life before has just been really busy. Like we were touring last year. We spent most of it. I spent most of it on the road. I was gone just as much as I was at home last year, which was really cool for me. And then we made some plans to kind of settle down for this year and start working on just working on more stuff at home, working on putting out more music and putting out more video content and having more of an online presence as opposed to going out and touring and grinding as hard. But yeah, it was just it was nice. It was nice to be kind of constantly on the go, constantly doing stuff. And now we're not. So it's we're trying our best to stay busy, but it's tough when our guitar player Kevin, his mom is a nurse at the hospital, so and he's living at home, so we kind of don't see him that often anymore. And then so it's kind of hard to get together, and he was our main like video content creator, so that stuff is kind of taking a little bit of a back seat, but we're trying things like live streams and putting other cool things out, like b-sides and stuff like that are coming out right now. We just put a song out on Friday, which was really good, and it's got a really great response, so that was really cool. That was just like a b-side that we recorded in the studio pre-renovation about 3 years ago. And it wasn't recorded properly at all. But me and Nick, my brother Nick, spent all the time this quarantine time like remixing and doing a bunch of stuff and getting it to the point where now it's on the biggest Canadian curated rock playlist in on Spotify.
Good
So
for you.
that's pretty
Awesome.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice having a brother that you're working with and could create with still, and you can go in the studio and work on stuff and
Yep.
still do gigs together and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's
That,
nice. Like, I mean, we brought a bunch of the stuff, a bunch of the gear home to do a bunch of the work from here for now. But I'm hoping I have one more project, one more client I have to finish a mix for. And then once I'm done that, so I'm hoping by the weekend I'll be able to bring all the gear back to the studio and just to be able to start creating again and just working out of that space, because
yes,
like the building's basically vacant, so it's just me leaving my house going to my own personal spot, so it's not a
yeah,
big deal.
yeah. No, that's good. Like, it's funny you should say that you wanted to go into more online stuff. Isn't it kind of funny that it kind of fell into your lap in a way?
It did. It is funny because I remember I was talking about beginning of the year. Some friends of ours in a band called Cassador were coming through. They were coming through town, and we were chatting with them about what our plan was. And they're like, "Oh, well, we're just playing live like as much as we can." So like, both of us had these like two polar opposite plans for 2020. And when all of this sort of happened, one of the guys from the band messaged me and was like, wow, you guys are already so much ahead of the curve on all of this, because now all these other bands who were planning on touring and doing all these things they can't now. So they're reevaluating what their plans are and postponing things, and we're just trying to find new ways to continue our plan. Like, yeah, we are a little set back with the fact that that Kevin is being that Kevin is kind of separate from us right now, but that's just how it goes. So you roll with the punches and you work with it. Like me and Nick, we just got new camera lenses for our iPhones, which are really cool. So yeah, so that's really rad. So we'll be able to start creating more content through that, and just like kind of taking the mobile thing really seriously, and just trying to do everything we can to sound the best and look the best as far as visually as we can. So
you're going to have to, I guess, in the next little while, because they've even forecasted no concerts to the beginning of the new year, and knowing that you can't assemble and have a concert like that is your forte, right? You love to perform in front of people.
Well, it's all we really do.
Yes.
That's what I've done, for the last 6 years of my life, has just been performing and playing.
Right.
And
so now you got to reinvent yourself.
There.
You have to reinvent yourself somehow in this way, right?
Yeah.
To make yourself very viable out there.
Yep. And I mean, I think that's the biggest thing too. The biggest plan is what I'm hoping at the end of all of this, is that we actually come out of this stronger and more ahead in our career than we did going into it. Using this time to become better players, using this time to, I'm trying to get back in shape. That I have more spare time, so I'm trying to get back in shape. So ergo, I could be a better performer. And we're trying to create all this content so we can grow our fan base while we are in quarantine, which is a big challenge, but that's one that we're up for. So
yeah, because I'm just like saying, that's why I've got collectively 15 people that I'm interviewing who are all very creative and artistic, and to try to just suppress that is very, very difficult. Like I know that it's driving me crazy, and I imagine it's driving you crazy too, because we need sort of an outlet. We need outlets, need to express ourselves artistically. And so like you say, you have to recreate yourself in this way. And that's great, because you're right. What you can do is you can lay this aside and say, okay, I'll get to it when everything gets back to normal. Then you're so far behind, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I was kind of lucky, and we're definitely lucky as a band, because we were already planning to do this kind of reinvention, right. And like exploring other avenues of this band that could, other revenue streams and other things we can do to grow our fan base. That's not just go out and play live. Because we were kind of reaching this point where we were noticing everything was kind of starting to plateau a little bit. And I think it's just because of how the industry is all shifting to streaming, to Spotify. I mean, our streaming numbers are better than ever. And they keep growing, and I'm really, really proud of that. But, we still need to find a way to create a demand that people go, I have to see that band when they come through, and they tell all their friends, and they say, exactly. We have to come see you guys. So that was kind of our plan. We weren't planning on really touring until the fall of 2020. And even then it wasn't going to be extensive. It was going to be, I think a couple, maybe 10 shows across the country is what we were planning. But that's not going to happen this year. Maybe next year when we get back to it. But we'll have a whole bunch more music out and a bunch more content, and hopefully a bunch of new fans, so that when we actually do go out, people really want to actually come and see our band play and spread the word. And then that way we can sell those shows out, as opposed to playing in cities for half full rooms. So,
well, the thing right now is that you have the audience base, because they're really like hungry for stuff. They're hungry for music. So you're branching out to people that probably never had the time to actually do any streaming or do any of that stuff, now that have the opportunity to do that. And it's that's the kind of the cool part of the whole thing, is that part. Like I think that's why you should capitalize on that when you can, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah, that's because of people are just very, very into it right now. Like they really craving for artistic stuff. You know, one of my interviews mentioned that sometimes artists are not considered essential, but we are because that's sometimes what keeps us focused in during this time of pandemic. We have to have some kind of artistic, like look at TV shows,
Yep.
music. You know, any kind of form of art is really required at this time when we're going through all this. So
Well, I mean, I just hope people remember that when this is all over, when like, and when society was at its darkest, you know, everybody turned to artists for help, and you
exactly.
know, like, you know, Netflix wouldn't be anything without the artists and the visionaries and directors and stuff like that who are creating, you know, their shows. Like, I mean, I binge watched the entire series of Ozark the other, you know, last
So
week.
good, isn't it?
It's
So good.
fantastic, but you
Like
know,
it's like I
like
mean seriously, I know. Sorry, I'm sorry, but like the fourth season, which is not going to be filmed for another year or so, whatever. But my
right,
God,
yeah, how they ended that third season.
got punched, got punched.
Yeah,
No kidding.
was not expecting that.
No,
Um, but
no.
yeah, like it's crazy. It's like all just, you know, people turn to, you know, they turn to music, they turn to live streams, they, you know, they they use those things to fill the gaps that are in their lives. You know, like we were playing, like, you know, between our own shows, touring, and the rock revival sets that we were doing. Um, we were playing like at least once a month, you know,
Yeah,
and you know, people would come to those shows and would look forward to them on the regular, and now they're not there. So, you know, there's still a void that needs to be filled, right? So
definitely. And that when that day comes, though, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. People are going to be so like over the top, excited and enthusiastic. It's going to be crazy.
well, I hope so. I'm a little worried because nobody knows when to start,
I know
you
that's
know,
that's
like,
biggest thing for me too.
and that's the issue, right? Because when, say for example, here in Thunder Bay, when the foundry reopens again, it's probably only going to be open at half capacity, right? So instead of 200 people, you'll be able to only have 100 people. And would 100 people even feel comfortable going into a room together? You know, we don't, that's the thing, right? So
It's
even once this thing starts and opens up, like, when is it going to, um, like, when are we going to get back to like the full strength of everything? You know, when is everybody going to be, you know, 100% comfortable with doing that? And that's going to be another situation, obviously, down the road that'll be trickier to navigate. But it's definitely something to start thinking about.
the advantage though. Like I'm looking at this because I look at the news and it's kind of depressing and all that kind of stuff. And I watch our Canadian news and I watch American news and how we're doing in Thunder Bay. We're doing really super well. Like
Yeah,
we are really doing well. And the fact remains that it could get better and better as we go along. But the problem is like right now, if we knew we had no cases in Thunder Bay, we could feel a little bit of ease.
right.
Could you imagine though opening up when you still have the rise of coronavirus? Who would want to go out? Everybody's gonna be scared. So
Yeah,
it's actually really good to be able to do that. Just 1 second, okay? Just
oh
one
yeah, take
second.
take
I'm
your
gonna
time.
I'm gonna I'm gonna edit this out.
Oh yeah, this will be an edit.
This will be an edit. Hello? Hello? Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you.
This is your captain calling.
Right, thank you. Yeah, this might skip the dishes, okay? All right. Good thing I know to edit. Because you imagine if I kept this in. By the way, I got my skip the
I guess.
dishes.
Woo.
So anyway, getting back to this, yeah, like do you imagine that? That's why people are like I really believe strongly the opening up in areas down in southern in the states is very hesitant because they don't want to, they know that the rise is still there.
Well,
But I think if Thunder Bay has no cases and we're trying to be really diligent, I think we might be able to get back to some sense of normal, hopefully. But who knows? I don't know.
yeah, I'm thinking it'll be sometime in the fall.
Yeah,
Is my guess. Will be
yeah,
like when things kind of start to opening up. I think that's a smart thing to do. I mean, you know, obviously my situation is very different than somebody else's situation. You know, I am at home with my family, and I'm not, you know, socially isolated by myself. But I couldn't imagine what it would be like to live alone right now. And what is going on? Lighting in here. Um, Sorry, I just
Your
noticed
piece is
just
the
like
most I have to edit.
I just noticed like it just flickering around.
I'm going, oh, it was an alien invasion.
Yeah, see, it's doing it again. Why is it doing that?
I got no idea why it's doing that. But it
There's
gives you kind of like it gives you lighting though. Like it was like, ooh, Ryan's a rock star.
There's literally nothing to anyway. Okay, it stopped. But yeah, where was I? It's doing it again.
It's okay. If it does it, I will say something. I will put a little blurb. Alien invasion or something.
Anyway, yeah. So it's interesting. It's going to be really interesting how everything kind of opens up again, and when it's going to, and to what capacity it's going to open up. So that's what I just hope that everybody, you know, we take our time with it. Oh, that's where I was, because my situation is different than other people's. That's what I was saying before the alien invasion. But my situation is different, you know, and some people, they got their social aspect out of work, or they got it out of, you know, something like that. So it's tough because, you know, a lot of people, I have friends who are, you know, stuck by themselves and in isolation by themselves, and they can't, they can't do anything with it or about it. And, you know, one of my friends, she said she's been alone for 57 days or something like that. And that's crazy to me.
You can only get so much interaction by talking on a screen.
Oh, exactly.
It's just not the same.
No.
You know?
And go ahead.
You
go ahead.
No, it's your interview.
No, well, especially when you're so used to that social element, you know, going out to bars and restaurants and socializing with people, and when that's like a part of your life because you live alone, you know, now you take that aspect away and you're just by yourself. It definitely, I could imagine that being very difficult. I mean, luckily for me, I'm not in that situation, but yeah, it could be worse. So.
Well, you know, and I've because I'm doing lots of online lessons, I've noticed a lot of mental health issues with my poor students, because they're younger and they don't get this, and they should be out there having the best time of their lives and enjoying every moment of it, but they're at home, and sometimes it's just mom and a daughter, but no mom and son, you know, like it's just, there's not much other interaction. Some are having little babies being brought up in the world thinking that that's how we communicate with people. You know, they're little toddlers talking to a phone and FaceTiming people. They don't even know about interaction yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, let's hopefully we curb this thing soon. So
yes, yeah, exactly. It's just for the normality of the fact that we have to be social beings. We have to be with people, right?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Okay, so just to ask you a few, like, your wishes and dreams about this. When you come out of this, what are you hoping to, like, that things come out of, like, positively, like?
I hope that people don't take the small things for granted, you know, like being able to run to the grocery store for one thing and not have to wait in a lineup, you know, Metro being open until, you know, midnight again would be tight. Not 8, because that sucks. You know, just basically at the end of it, just that the little things aren't taken for granted. Because I know there's definitely some things that I took for granted. I mean, Metro is just around the corner from my house, and you know, it's like you got to plan a day around going to the grocery store. You got to, you know, it's that's the one thing I really hope, and even just like going out to shows and going out to a restaurant
or just
and going
go for
out
a drink
to bars,
after work, you know,
exactly. Just like all those little things that were, you know, everyday parts of our lives, just to not take those for granted, because something so small, they're seemingly so small and so easily, you know, could just throw all of that off. And so I just, you know, basically just wanting to, just not take those things for granted.
Exactly. My dad used to say, it's not the big things in life, it's the little things.
Always.
They're the ones that always seem to, yes, exactly. The big little things. I think that's a huge thing that I'm learning as well, is sometimes the adaptability to change is going to be probably the thing that we need to learn the most, is how to adapt to this, how to be able to change. And because we've been given this opportunity, like I said many times in interviews, is this sense of reset, of being able to go back to something that possibly could be better than we had before.
Yeah, I agree. I
You know,
definitely agree. And especially if, and that, things can be better. They will, and it's all like kind of based off of that, those little things, those small things. And you start not taking those for granted, then you stop, you can start being more kind to other people in those situations.
absolutely.
And it's all gonna, you know, when you get to start going back to concerts again, people are going to be a whole lot nicer to everybody involved at concerts, to all your staff and all, because your door staff, your security, you're back. You're
Yes.
back at it. It's important. And that's what I'm most excited about. I'm really excited to go back, to get back and play a really big hometown show. And that's what I'm the most excited to get back to. But it's going to take some time, right? Like it's not going to be the first weekend that the Foundry's open, or it won't be the first weekend that Crocs is open. And like, it won't be us. I'll tell you that right now. Like, some people have been asking, like, hey, when the Foundry opens back up again, like, you guys should play there. And it's just like, nope, because we can't. Once everything starts to open back up again, that doesn't even mean like, it doesn't, just because that stuff's opening back up again doesn't mean that, we can get back in a room and start rehearsing again, right? It doesn't mean that, and it sucks because, we know, and I'm not trying to sound arrogant or anything, but we know that every time we play the Foundry, it sells out. And that's just been statistic for the last 2 years. And it would be, I don't know if that would be very responsible to do that. I was just
going to say that it's not responsible
right away, on our end to do that, so it's going to take some time. It'll take some time before there's another Honest Heart Collective live show. But
that's responsible of you guys, and it's something to look forward to. It's like we need to ease into everything. We just have to ease in slowly but responsibly, and once we start feeling comfortable with it, then that's the time we just sort of celebrate.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we like adapted already to 8 weeks of being quarantined. You know what I mean? Yep. We can adapt to things, and we can learn. We can be patient for things. This is what we could be, and it'd be all worth it, completely worth it. And like you were saying, people are going to be different with each other because we all did it together.
Yeah, I mean that's all you can hope. Can hope. That's all you can really hope for. There's always going to be mean people out there in the world, but
yeah, I don't like them.
No. It's all those people protesting down in the States for their businesses to reopen.
And not considering the lives of other people. We got to value life better than this. We are better than that. You know what I mean?
We are better than that.
We are better than that. And that's why I love living in Canada.
Yeah, you know what? I could, every one of our Canadian politicians is handling this better than their U.S. counterparts. So
yeah, it's showing because we're do our due diligence, and it's paying off in long, and I think we come back stronger that way. Unified people, putting people together only works. You cannot divide. And once you have division, no one's ever going to be happy. No one's ever going to find a common ground.
Yep. Well, that's why the U.S. is so polarized. It's been polarized since before the Civil War, and it's stayed that way, and things like that. But that's a country that will always be divided. And there's two types of people in the world, and it's very weird that those beliefs can all be divided up by two political parties. But that's just how it is.
Yeah.
It's just the way it works, and how it's been. And it's not working. No, but that's just like how it's been and how it's always been. And the system's too big and old and dumb to change. So that's life. That's where we sit with it. And
yes, and that's right. And that's why, we choose where we live, and we're very lucky that we live here. It's a blessing. So I'm looking forward to getting back to the new normal that we're going to be at. And you keep putting the music out. That's fantastic, Ryan. You're doing all these live stream concerts, keeping it alive. That's fantastic. That's really good. Yeah. So, kind of like, you know, you're an okay kind of guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I try to do the best I can, I guess.
But I'm so glad you did this, and I really so appreciate it. And I thank you very much for your insight. I appreciate it a lot, and I know that it's going to come out better than when it comes together. Like,
Yeah,
oh wow,
I hope so.
that rhymed. I'm gonna write a song about that.
You're a genius.
I'm genius.
Genius.
Genius. Anyway, my friend, love you. Have a
Love
really
you
good
too.
day.
Thank you so much.
And we'll keep in touch, my friend.
Yeah, you bet.
All right,
See you
take
soon.
care.
You
Thanks,
bet.
Ryan.
Bye-bye.